right, here's your TV and movie news releases. Coming out of Comic-Con is The Walking Dead. Looks like they're going to have a wrap-up miniseries in 2023. Going to be on AMC and AMC Plus. Looks like they're bringing back Rick and Michonne. So it'd be cool to see them again. I missed Rick. I thought he was the heart and soul of the show.
Yeah, for me, the show really took a dive in the absence of Rick. The story just was really driven by that character, and without Andrew Lincoln at the head of the TV show, it just took a dive for me, and it also tapered off for me.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his character Negan. But I think Andrew Lincoln had that presence. You know, obviously he's been there from the beginning, and you know, a lot of people get attached to those characters that have been there from the inception of the show. And then when those characters leave, whether they're killed off or they mysteriously disappear, it's like a piece of the show went missing. And so it's just it's real good to hear that he's coming back. Because I think it was just kind of lost there for a while without him. So it's like I said, it's a 2023 release. It's going to be a mini-series. I didn't actually see how many episodes. I think it was 6, but I don't want to just assume. But you know, it's not going to be just a one-off, and definitely not going to be a movie like a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the first announcements or even rumors had indicated to a movie of some sort, but no, they should keep it. They should keep it in the series.
Yeah.
It would be a too disjointed if they just release some sort of movie. And then you gotta watch the TV show and the movie.
Yeah, because I mean, what's the TV show? Like 45 minutes, 50 minutes or so? Right. And then if they put it out in a movie, that's an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours.
Yeah, it's basically an episode.
Yeah. They're gonna wrap it up in that, and that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad to hear that they're doing a miniseries. You know, give them the send off that they deserve, and then we'll see. You know what happens with them at the end. Maybe they'll be made for spin-offs, which I heard those are in the works. So we'll see what's going on with those. We got Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Graham, I think that's her name. What was her character? She was Stephen Yin's
Maggie?
Yeah, Maggie, wife in the show. Right. So Glenn. So yeah, it sounds like they're getting their own spin-off. And she was another character that I liked that was pretty well story-driven for the show. And then when she left, it sucks when these guys leave because, like I said, it's like a piece of the show leaving with them. It just doesn't feel the same, you know. But I'm glad that she came back. That they still needed to get Andrew Lincoln back. You know, looks like they're accomplishing that.
Sounds like good news for the TV show, and might even be back.
Yeah. I might have to rewatch everything from season 1 just to get the feel all over again. Also coming out of Comic-Con news is Teen Wolf, the movie. That's set for a 2022 release, so this year, which will be on Paramount Plus. This show was originally on MTV. So not sure what happened there. Maybe MTV didn't want to pick it up for the movie, and Paramount Plus grabbed it. Or, you know, for all I know, they could be the same company. You know, like an umbrella company. One works under the other. But yeah, so from what I hear, everybody that was in the 6 seasons is coming back in one form or another, except for Dylan O'Brien, who played Styles. And like how we were talking about, like, you know, Rick was one of the driving forces of The Walking Dead. Dylan O'Brien and the main character, Tyler Posey, I think were the main driving characters of Teen Wolf. Did you get a chance to ever watch the series?
This one's actually one I'm not super familiar with. But yeah, from what I hear, yet another case of another show suffering from production woes in terms of some of the talent that were integral to the story not being a part of it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the movies from the 80s, right? Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, the movies totally.
Yeah. So both those characters, Styles and Scott, those guys were the two characters that you had to have for the movie for it to work. And same thing with the TV show. You needed these two characters. They played well off each other. It sucks really that Dylan didn't want to come back for it. I don't know if anybody knew or knows what was going on in his personal life, but he got really badly injured during one of the Maze Runner movies, and that's what caused him to kind of go in a little bit of a seclusion. He was really hurt really bad. In fact, on one of the seasons of Teen Wolf, his character arc was very minimal. So although he was on the show, he had very little parts, just because he was trying to recover and recuperate. I'm combining words there. But yeah, for him to overall just negate the reunion like he did, I mean, it speaks volumes of what he's gone through and what he's still going through. So it sucks that he's not going to be there, but I'm excited to see the rest of the cast. I did follow this show, not when it originally came out, but a few years after. I was introduced to it by my wife. She basically said that I need to watch this, so we sat down and watched it, and yeah, it was awesome. I liked it a lot. Don't know why I didn't watch it originally. It just seemed like maybe one of those teen drama style shows that was on MTV.
Yeah, coming out of MTV, I wouldn't have expected much from it either.
Yeah, and just the previews and the commercials that they showed just didn't really leave anything up to the imagination. It was just kind of it looks kind of weird, and just didn't get my interest at all. So I just completely off the radar. So those are your TV shows, and we got Wednesday Addams, which looks like they shortened the title to Wednesday. This is a takeoff of the Addams Family. This is going to set for a 2022 release also. What do we have down for October, September?
I believe September.
Yeah.
Because it's actually releasing at some point. I don't see an actual date, but it's releasing close to the date of Rob Zombie's The Monsters, which is one of the things that sort of stood out to me, that both of these are releasing sort of in tandem.
I saw a post that he put on Instagram about that. Had both of the posters, his poster and Tim Burton's poster.
Yeah, so my best guess would be the last week of September.
Okay. Yeah, so this is our last TV series that's news that's being released. This is also going to be released on Netflix, and this is a series, and it's not going to be a movie. Not sure how many seasons it'll get. After this first season, we'll see how successful it is. I'm hearing a little bit of backlash right now for Gomez, but everything is just kind of taken with a grain of salt until you actually watch it and see what's going to happen. It's just one other person's opinion.
Yeah, especially with Netflix, who is notorious for canceling things, and just after just one season, if it's not extremely popular, they usually don't go ahead and greenlight any further episodes. So yeah, Netflix is really sketchy in that sense. So we'll see. It looks good. The trailer has me excited. I think the cast is spot on, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. And then moving to movie news, we just talked about Rob Zombie's The Munsters, which looks like it'll be releasing around the same time as Wednesday.
I have it for September 27th.
Okay, yeah, so either sometime in that week or maybe after or maybe before Wednesday will drop. But The Munsters was going to be a movie release, and then not sure what happened, but it got set up as a Netflix-only release.
Yeah.
So kind of sad for Rob Zombie on that aspect, but same thing too. You know, out of the gate, there are some people that have negative things to say about it. But again, those are those people's opinions, and until you actually sit down and watch, the movie, there are some things I personally saw that I wouldn't say too happy about, but just didn't think it fit with the whole Monsters persona. But again, we'll see when it drops. What about you? What you think of the trailers and stuff?
Initially, when I saw the black and white stills, I was really excited about it. However, when the trailer came out, I don't know, it didn't quite click. The color palette that they're using is a little bit. It's weird.
When I first saw it, I was the same way. So I saw the black and white, and I was like super excited, and then it went to color, and it was like something clicked off, and I was like, oh. Because it reminded me of those Munsters remakes from the 90s and 2000s.
Right.
And just the color palette that they use is just really strong and just really weird.
Yeah, it's trying to play with really bright colors, pastels on really dark backdrops, which I get, but I don't know if it works necessarily. One of the things
they use that style of makeup back in the 60s because it transitioned really well in black and white. And then using it in color, I don't think transitions very well.
Yeah, no, especially now with 4K and all these TVs with really good resolution. It's going to be very noticeable if anything's off.
Yeah, that's kind of where technology's led us now. A lot of practical special effects and things like that. You're going to see, where the makeup ends and where the prosthetics begin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sad that we're in that type of digital age. And still cool at the same time, but for practical effects, that's kind of murder for those artists, because you're going to see all their I don't want to say flaws, but you're going to see all their where they're supposed to blend those areas, and obviously you can tell it's fake and it's not.
Also, it's going to be, as far as I was able to tell from the trailer, it's going to be sort of origin story / prequel to the material that we've seen before. So I don't know if that's going to affect sort of the narrative, or are they going to make major changes to the things that we already know?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen who's playing Eddie Munster, so that's not been released.
Right.
Grandpa, he's got a mustache. There's little things like that Rob has changed and taken liberties with. And I was kind of against it at first, but I know the character or the actor who plays Grandpa, and it fits the look for him, and I think he does it pretty well. So, but
there's definitely a change from what we've seen from Rob Zombie, right? Because this is going to be very campy in nature, which it should be. That's why I was intrigued when they announced that Rob Zombie was on this project. Definitely not something that I think is a comfort zone for Rob Zombie.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I know he's a huge fan of the Munsters, huge fan of the Addams Family. Those shows from the '60s. Obviously, with his band White Zombie, and then his solo, Rob Zombie career. He's dabbled into the the art of horror, and obviously coming out as a horror director, and doing the Halloween remake or reimagining. I'm not sure what they're calling it now. But yeah, this is definitely a left field for him turn. It feels like going from trying to tell a horror story to now he's, like you said, being very campy, and trying to get the laughs opposed to like the screams.
Absolutely. I'm still gonna see it.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
It's one of the ones where it's on my must list.
Yeah, totally. So I can't wait to check it out. Obviously, you'll be watching it at the same time, or I don't know when Adam or Wednesday's going to drop. So obviously it's somewhere in that same time frame. I'll be watching both of them, checking them both out.
Same.
And then last movie in our releases that they announced, which was going to be in limited release, but it looks like it might be getting a bigger release, is Terrifier 2. This is the follow-up sequel to the movie Terrifier with Art the Clown. And this has a theater release for October 6th, so coming up here shortly in the next month. And this film, the original, has a huge cult following. Like I never even heard of this movie. All I ever saw was the memes of the character Art the Clown, and I just assumed that it was some random clown picture that people were posting up, memes, and just using this picture. I didn't actually know it was a real movie.
Yeah, this one didn't come to my radar until very recently. I'm definitely going to watch Terrifier 1 prior to going to the theater to watch Terrifier 2 because it looks really cool. Like the trailers I've seen and the posters I've seen, I've never understood this obsession that some people have with scary clowns. And I've it and other movies, Killer Clowns from Outer Space and things like that.
Yeah, I don't understand the obsession, and I also don't understand the fear.
Right.
Because I don't have either one, but maybe that's why I don't understand it. Like Halloween Haunt, when I worked there years ago, I was like half their mazes, and also one section of an area that they had was just nothing but clowns.
Yeah.
So it was like huge. They knew that scared the shit out of people. So they're like, oh great, we're gonna do this area full of clowns, and we're gonna have all these mazes. Yeah, it's like it gets worse. People were just terrified of a normal clown. Now all of a sudden there's a zombie clown. And it's like, man, these people can't win. But yeah, this, like I said, this movie has a huge cult following. So I'm assuming that once this one drops, it's going to be the same. Now that people know about the second one coming out, so it's definitely going to be one of those things that people are going to be talking about, and I'm sure I'm going to see more memes, and at least this time I'll be in the know.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to have to update my horror clown lore to be able to go to the theater and enjoy this one. The posters especially look especially terrifying.
Yeah, they look demented. He looks crazy. So, yeah, Terrifier 2, October 6th, be out in the theaters. Look for it. First we'll talk about some movies, and then we'll move right into the television. The first one obviously I want to talk about is Halloween Ends. October 14th in the theaters, and looks like it's going to be releasing on Peacock at the same day. Ollin actually told me that news. So if you don't want to see it in the theater, you definitely can just sit at home and enjoy it on the couch. Or if you want the movie theater experience, go out and check it out.
Yeah, the theater experience is better for me when it comes to Halloween movies. I'm really excited. One of the ones that really, really enjoyed kills, just the sheer amount of kills in that movie was really satisfying.
I wish like after watching it on Peacock, I wish I was able to see it in the theater.
Absolutely.
Just because I can imagine like how the people would be just going off, over all those kill scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's why Ants is gonna be one of the ones that I'm really I have a whole plan already. Rewatching the prior two and then straight to the theater.
Nice. Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. I had more to say about it. I'm like drawing a blank. Blumhouse I think did a fantastic job. This is the last movie of the trilogy, at least for this trilogy, pertaining to Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and they're speculating, that it could not be the end of Michael Myers, but they don't want to obviously say because that would ruin the end of the film, in some way or another. Obviously, he'd probably come back, but whether it's actually Michael or they're gonna try and do like the Jamie Lloyd thing, at the end of 4, like how she was possessed, and they thought they were gonna pass on the curse from Michael to her. So maybe they might be thinking of that direction, or they'll bring back Michael. So we'll see how it ends and if what the plans are for later for them to revive the series again. But as for this trilogy, I thought they did a fantastic job. I loved the 2018. I loved Kills. Obviously, I'm probably gonna love Ends, but I'm not gonna love that it's ending.
Yeah. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
But really excited to watch this movie, and I wish it was October 14 already.
Yeah, I agree. Other news for movie releases coming up soon. Actually, for the day that we're recording this has already been released. The movie's called House of Darkness. This movie has Justin Long in it, and I can't think of the girl's name now. That's shitty. This is why I need to write stuff down. It's alright, I'll just edit this part. House of Darkness. This movie has Justin Long and Kate Bosworth. Kate Bosworth, from what I remember her, was from Superman Returns and a couple other like smaller films. Justin Long, it's good to see him coming back from, I personally think of a failed horror attempt with Tusk. I wasn't too really happy or thrilled with that movie. But to see him come back from Jeepers Creepers back to the horror genre, can't wait to check out this movie. From the trailers that I saw, super cool.
Yeah, just along one of those actors that sort of flies under the radar, but for my money, very talented individual.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the Tusk, not that great. Obviously, he did a good performance in it. I just think it wasn't one of Kevin Smith's stronger films, especially with the kind of story that he was telling. But you did tell me that he's doing a possible sequel to it.
Yeah, I read somewhere that Kevin Smith had penned a sequel to Tusk, and he's in talks of producing it.
Okay. Well, hopefully that's his redemption.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Time will only tell with that one. So, yeah, House of Darkness, like I said, it's already released. It had a September 9th release. We're recording today, September 10th. And it's already in the theaters. This is a horror mystery. And from the trailers I saw, I thought it was about a house for some reason. Just because maybe it has house in the title, not sure. but after watching it to almost the very end, that's when all the puzzle pieces came together, and then you actually see what it's really about.
Yeah, the trailer does a really good job of guiding you without spoiling too much, and really making you interested in the project. As the trailer moves on, you become more and more immersed in it. And by the end of the trailer, I was really excited for this movie.
Yeah, so to keep you guys in less of suspense, this movie, House of Darkness, is about the brides of Dracula. So anybody who is a Dracula fan or a fan of vampires or the brides themselves, that's what this movie pertains to. It looks like Justin Long's character is somewhat of a Jonathan Harker character from the Dracula novel. Even though he's not playing that character, his character is similar to what Justin or Jonathan Harker's character was. And it looks like Kate Bosworth is one of the lead brides. And they also have Lucy Walters and Gia Batten. I'm probably not butchering her name. So those are the three women playing the brides. And like I said, then Justice Long, he's basically in the house trying to figure out like what the fuck's going on, because it seems like he's getting played, left and right. Like a bunch of games are happening. He's just like, why am I here, and what the hell's going on? And like I said, it wasn't until almost the very end of the trailer when it was revealed, and you're just like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. I'll probably go watch this one either tonight or tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. We can definitely do a review on it. I'll try and see if I can muster up some old cash to go and check it out too. And I'll probably drag my kid to it. I'm sure he'll like it.
Sounds good.
All right, and the last of our movie releases that should be coming out fairly soon. This has a September 16th release. Is the prequel to the movie X. So this movie is titled Pearl, and this takes place before X, long before X. So this is a prequel origin story for Pearl, and it's starring Mia Goth.
Yeah, once you watch the trailer for Pearl, if you've seen X, it really smooths out a lot of the maybe the things that were left unclear, or maybe you can catch it upon first viewing of X. Pearl really makes it a more clear view of what you're watching in X. And having Mia Goth back is a really good treat.
Yeah, I saw that. If you haven't seen it already, obviously these are going to be spoilers. But Mia Goth plays Pearl in X and plays the main character in the movie. But to reprise her role in Pearl as a younger Pearl. Yeah, she does a fantastic job from what I've seen in the trailers. And Ollin's right. If you've seen X and then you watch the trailer to Pearl, you're kind of seeing pieces like of the puzzle being put back together. And you're just like, okay, you understand who she is, what she is, and sort of how she becomes who she is.
Yeah, apparently the trailer for Pearl was a sort of after credits type thing that they did for the theaters. I didn't see X in the theaters, but
yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, some people have told me that when they saw it in the theater, that was one of the, if you stayed for the after credits, that was one of the things that was shown.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about watching X, so we could do the review on it, you had brought it to my attention that they had shot both of those movies back to back.
Right.
So they basically use the same farmhouse that X was shot at, so because it's obviously the same farmhouse. So smart on Ty West to kill two birds with one stone. Same, he pulled Peter Jackson, decided to roll out all those movies at once, and so what was X released, like the beginning of this year?
Yeah. I think it was February, something like that.
Yeah, and then now September they're releasing Pearl. So good. Kudos to him. Good planning. Recording both of those and then having a separation. A little bit of time. At least it's not a year, because you still want it to be fresh in people's memories. Especially when if you have that after credit scene, and then a couple months later you start dropping the trailer for that movie, and people will be like, oh yeah.
It's still
like refreshes their interest in it again.
Right, and also it helps a lot with one of the things that you notice watching X is the characters are really fleshed out, and the backstories are that you know that the backstories are there, and having that prequel movie makes complete sense.
Yeah. So that's it for our movie releases that are coming out or have already come out. And then in TV news, we have, let's start with this one. This one's already been released, but we didn't have a chance to talk about it. This was released on Netflix back in August. It's DC Comics, or Vertigo Comics, The Sandman. So this is set up as a series, and I'm not sure what the actual name of the comic that this season was based off of, but I had a chance to read it after viewing it, because I'm not very familiar with the Sandman. My wife is, but I'm not. But I thought overall it was very well done. There was some hate out there for certain characters and certain actors playing these characters, but I think overall everybody who portrayed who they were supposed to portray did an excellent job.
Yeah, I really like how it was I think 11 episodes, but in one season they gave us sort of like 2 stories. And then the additional 11th episode sort of expanded on the universe, and I think they did a really good job pacing-wise in bringing us those different aspects of the Sandman lore.
Yeah, I thought it was excellently done. The actors that they chose. Like I said, I wasn't very familiar with these characters, not reading the comics itself, but some of them were pretty spot on to the look that they were trying to go for, especially the main character who played Dream. I thought the actor that they had done up for him was pretty close. I was extremely happy with how he turned out.
Yeah, he really does get the feel of the character. As maybe you read it in the comic books. It does come off the same.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the whole premise of the show itself, I thought was very well done. In relation to the comics. I wish I was able to have read the comics beforehand, just to have a better understanding of the universe that it's in and these characters. But I thought for the most part, coming into it basically blind, it was really good. It was really refreshing to see something well done like they did.
Yeah, and even if you read the comics after, for some people, I've heard that the comics they're a bit too dense in the beginning, and the TV show might make it a little bit more digestible for some people. And you can watch the TV show and sort of immerse yourself in the world and the universe of Sandman, and then go back and read the comic books, and you might enjoy them a little bit more that way.
Yeah. So yeah, that one's already released on Netflix. Came out in the beginning of August. And if you haven't had a chance to watch it, definitely watch it. I can't wait for season 2. See what story they go with next. Obviously, I'll have to wait for my wife to tell me as soon as she sees, the first episode, which story what they're doing. Moving on to other TV news. This is actually set for a couple of years from now, but Marvel Zombies obviously will be a Disney Plus show, but it has a 2024 release, and this one's going to be animated, just like the What Ifs. So the one episode that they had with the zombies, looks like they're continuing on with that story line of the Marvel Zombies, but Ollin's our resident comic guy, so he'll have more to say about it.
Yeah, Marvel Zombies was originally written by the creator of The Walking Dead.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so it makes perfect sense. I'm very curious to see what they do with this version of it, since the MCU is fairly different from the 616 from the comic books.
What multiverses does this take place in? Like, what Earth would they consider this to be?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the 616 is the current universe that we're watching.
Yeah.
And then the What Ifs were taking place in different
iterations of it. Yeah. So the Marvel Zombies is obviously the one where the superheroes become zombies, and they have a different take on the superheroes. Once they become zombies, they don't quite retain their personalities. So, but they're still, super powered. So it's completely different. But I really love the animation that they were using, and expanding on that universe. I think is going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to check it out. And I agree with you. I really enjoyed the animation that they used for the What Ifs. Thought they were really well done. I've seen in some animation where it's very choppy. Like when they released the Star Wars shorts. What were those called? They had like the 10 episodes. Or however many episodes.
The ones that were like animes?
Yeah. So a couple of those.
Visions,
Visions. So Star Wars Visions. Yeah, a couple of those had really good animation, and then a couple of those had, in my opinion, some really poor animation.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it was the style of animation that, because I know like a lot of the Japanese animation has multiple different styles. So I think they were obviously going that route, with all the different variations of animation. But there are some that when I watch, it's visually pleasing, and then there's others that are just not. It's really hard for me to pay attention, especially with the ones that are not.
Yeah, also I'm curious to see if they're going to bring back the same actors, the same voice actors, or if they're going to go with different people. Because a lot of the voice actors on the What If stories were the same actors from the movie.
Yeah, I think there was only like a couple, like 2 or 3 actors that weren't the same, and that was like big news. They're like, oh, so-and-so is not reprising their role, and it was like clickbait, and you're like, what? And then you click on it, and it's like, in the animated feature, and it's like, oh,
right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a recasting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, 2024, Disney Plus, Marvel Zombies. I can't wait to check that out. Definitely see how this is put out there. If it's going to be like a whole brand new story arc, like Ollin was saying. Was it Robert Kirkman, right?
Yeah, Robert Kirkman, the creator of that.
Yeah, so if they're going to start,
It would be.
they're going to start with that first series that he wrote, or if this is actually going to be a continuance to the what ifs that had just happened. Only time will tell. We'll see when it drops. And then last in our movie news is Chucky. So Chucky Season 2, finally here. Well, not finally here, but October 10th. Then it'll be finally here. And this is being released again on Sci-Fi USA Network. Looks like you can watch it on either or stream it. But yeah, Season 2. So they got Chucky back. Looks like they've got Andy coming back, from what I saw. The kids, the 3 remaining kids, they look like they are in either some kind of prep school or military school. I don't think it's military school, because they did that already with the third Chucky, the third Child's Play. So it's like probably like a prep school or a private school, or one of those like homes for kids. Because what all these kids lost their family, right?
Yeah. Everybody lost either their mom or their dad or somebody close to them.
Yeah. So the kids are in a school together, and then once again, Chucky's terrorizing, from what I see in the trailers, and
apparently Devon Sawa is also coming back, even though both his characters died in spoilers in the first season, but he's coming back in some capacity.
yeah, he's that was weird. I didn't know that, because of his he played twins in the first season, 2 brothers, and to hear that he's coming back, I was just like, wow. I wonder how they're going to do that, or if they just want the audience to imagine that he's somebody new. That's kind of a hard swallow. That a good actor, I personally like him a lot. Can easily come back as a different character, but it's how believable is it, because you've seen this actor as this one character, and then that's what's in your mind, is you're thinking, well, how can he be somebody different? So there's got to be some kind of relation with him and these 2 brothers that he played. But I don't know, or maybe they do a makeup job on him, kind of disguise him a little bit. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool to hear that he's back, but weird to hear that he's back, trying to figure out what character he's going to play. So,
I mean, Chucky was such a goofy series that anything they'll do, I'll probably just be like, all right, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, they got Brad, can't pronounce his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Dwarf or Diorf or something like that. He's obviously coming back as the voice of Chucky. His daughter, Fiona, is coming back, and Jennifer Tilly is coming back. And then, like I said, Alex Vincent played Andy Barclay. He's supposedly coming back. I'm not sure if it's in what capacity he's coming back, because the first season ended on a cliffhanger with him. So we'll see how that picks up. And like I said, from what I saw, the teaser trailer had the kids in the school, and lo and behold, there's Chucky in the school. So if there's a will, there's a way. He'll find you. But yeah, Chucky Season 2, October 10th, Sci-Fi and USA Network. Check it out. So that should be those are our releases coming out now and in the future for movies and TV. We have a movie review for X. Both of us watched it. Definitely was a different type of movie. Different take on the horror genre.
Yes.
Pretty crazy. Some of the kills I thought were were outstanding, and then some of them I think were kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but I guess they fit the movie for what they were.
Yeah. The kills were very well paced. Although, like I said, some of them were pretty fantastical, and others were just kind of sort of happened. None of them were telegraphed, is what I like to see. You expected them, but it wasn't completely obvious that it was going to go down the way it did.
Yeah, like the scene with Brittany Snow, where she finds Pearl at the dock, in front of the lake. Like right there, you know that she's going in the water.
Yeah, you already know there's a alligator there.
Yeah, so, but you don't know how it's going to go down, and that's one of those ones that, like I said, I don't want to say it's lazy, but it fit the movie. You know, she was there, was on the dock. They talked about the gator.
Been set up.
Yeah, it had been set up perfectly. So, and then she just gave her that push right in, just, and called her a bitch, which was funny. So, but yeah, little things like that. You saw them coming, but like at the same time, you were expecting it to go maybe different or like I guess more of a fight, but it just was so simple. She's like, fuck you, and just pushes her.
Yeah, X, just to set up what we're talking about, X is a group of people, late 1970s, set out to film a pornographic movie. So they rent a farmhouse from a kindly old couple in rural Texas. And throughout the night, as they are in production of their movie, things go awry and become more and more hostile. It was a good commentary, I think, on being the end of the 70s, the tail end of the sexual revolution, of the 60s and the 70s, and going into the Reagan years. I think they placed it perfectly in that timeline. It talks a lot about our awareness of death, our relationship with death, and the link between sex and killing, which I thought was a very fresh take on the slasher.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that the setup for it was well done. Well, sometimes it threw me because I, not knowing anything about it going into it originally, when I saw the trailers, I thought the old man was going to be really the guy going around doing all the crazy shit. But then to find out that it's actually Pearl doing all the crazy shit, and then he knows about it and is covering for her. Speaks highly to like how the love story of two crazy ass of psychopaths, can be portrayed.
Yeah. Just that relationship they had, right? How they were dealing with the process of aging. The movie is the only gripe I have with the movie is a bit of a slow burn. You have to stick with it because that first half, while very interesting and they're setting everything up, it's a bit of a slow burn. Once it amps up though, it really just takes off. And think it was just the pacing, while a bit slow, it was a good pacing.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, I don't like how movies spend a lot of time with backstory, but I actually quite enjoyed the backstory of this one, where they gave you a little fill-in of, you know, almost all the characters, and, like, you know, what they're doing, where they came from, and where they want to move forward to. And you're right, as soon as, like, the action started, it was like a boulder going downhill. Like,
Yeah.
there was no stopping it. It was just one thing after the other. You know, everything was like in sequence. So there was no, like, you know, stopping and the next day. Like, it was all in the same night, and it was just like one right after the other. You know, and then it just, yeah, it was just, you're just like, wow. I thought they would be taking a break or, you know, setting up something else. But no, it was just, you know, they just kept moving on from one thing to the next. And they did it very fluidly.
Yeah, the flow was excellent.
Yeah, there was no break or anything that, you know, that looked like it was lost it. But yeah, it was very fluid. It flowed very nice. So
Yeah, and even if some of the clips, because like you said, two of the people get shot, and that's just how they die. But the way it happens, you can't really see it happening any other way.
But with that, going from Pearl into X, we have a movie review for X. Both of us watched it. Definitely was a different type of movie. Different take on the horror genre.
Yes.
Pretty crazy. Some of the kills I thought were outstanding, and then some of them which I think were kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but I guess they fit the movie for what they were.
Yeah. The kills were very well paced, although like I said, some of them were pretty fantastical, and others were just kind of sort of happened. None of them were telegraphed, is what I like to see. You expected them, but it wasn't completely obvious that it was going to go down the way it did.
Yeah, like the scene with Brittany Snow, where she finds Pearl at the dock, in front of the lake. Like, right there, you know that she's going in the water.
Yeah, you already know there's a alligator there.
Yeah, so, but you don't know how it's going to go down. And that's one of those ones that, like I said, I don't want to say it's lazy, but it fit the movie, you know. She was there, was on the dock, they talked about the gator.
Been set up.
Yeah, it had been set up perfectly. So, and then she just gave her that push right in, just, you know, called her a bitch, which was funny. So, but yeah, little things like that. You saw them coming, but like at the same time, you're expecting it to go maybe different or like I guess more of a fight. But it just was so simple, you know. No, she's like, fuck you, and just pushes her.
Yeah, X, just to set up the what we're talking about, X is a group of people, late 1970s, set out to film a pornographic movie. So they rent a farmhouse from a kindly old couple in rural Texas. And throughout the night, as they are in production of their movie, things go awry and become more and more hostile. It was a good commentary, I think, on being the end of the 70s, the tail end of the sexual revolution and of the 60s and 70s, and going into the Reagan years. I think they placed it perfectly in that timeline. It talks a lot about our awareness of death, our relationship with death, and the link between sex and killing, which I thought was a very fresh take on the slasher.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that the setup for it was well done. Well, sometimes it threw me because I, not knowing anything about it going into it originally, when I saw the trailers, I thought the old man was going to be really the guy going around doing all the crazy shit. But then to find out that it's actually Pearl doing all the crazy shit, and then he's basically, he knows about it and just covering for her. Speaks highly to like how the love story of two crazy ass of psychopaths, can be portrayed.
Yeah. Just that relationship they had, right? How they were dealing with the process of aging. The movie is the only gripe I have with the movie is a bit of a slow burn. You have to stick with it because that first half, while very interesting and they're setting everything up, it's a bit of a slow burn. Once it amps up though, it really just takes off. And I think it was just the pacing, while a bit slow, it was a good pacing.
Yeah, I agree. I for the most part, I don't like how movies spend a lot of time with backstory, but I actually quite enjoyed the backstory of this one, where they give you a little fill-in of almost all the characters and what they're doing, where they came from, and where they want to move forward to. And you're right. As soon as the action started, it was like a boulder going downhill. There was no stopping it. It was just one thing after the other. Everything was like in sequence. So there was no stopping and the next day. It was all in the same night. And it was just like one right after the other. They just kept moving on from one thing to the next. And they did it very fluidly.
The flow was excellent.
Yeah, it was very fluid. It flowed very nice. So.
Yeah, and even if some of the kills, because like you said, two of the people get shot, and that's just how they die. But the way it happens, you can't really see it happening any other way. It had to happen that way. Some of those kills.
I was like, two people got shot. Oh no.
Kid Cudi, he gets shot.
Yeah.
Shoots him. And then
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega's character. That one was pretty cool. You see her get blown to bits.
And that was like a double kill because her death, she wasn't quite dead, and then she caused the old man to have a heart attack.
Right. Spooked him.
Yeah.
And
and he kept saying throughout the entire film about how he has a bad ticker.
Right. Yeah. That was also the reason why he couldn't have sex with his old lady anymore.
Yeah. I like that tie-in. They weren't just using it as I can't fuck you because my heart it's gonna give out, but they used it as his death. It's like that's what finally got him.
Right. Jenna Ortega, she has my vote for Scream Queen 2022. That scene where she screams, I think they've made a meme by now, and it's really well done. Really well done. I'm keeping my eye out for these actors, Jenna Ortega, and of course Mia Goth. But Jenna Ortega looks like she's doing good things. Mia Goth performance is also something cool that really stood out in the movie. And this her character just had a lot of power from the beginning. Very strong family girl, very determined. This is how I would characterize her character, Maxine, in the movie.
Did you catch the ending?
Yeah. It turns out, as it turns out, spoiler alert. But there's throughout the movie you see a preacher on the TV going on and on about fire and brimstone and what have you. And at the very end, as it turns out, Maxine is the preacher's daughter. So the movie they were making was called The Farmer's Daughter, but in reality she was the preacher's daughter.
Yeah, I thought that was clever. Very clever. I didn't see coming at all.
Right?
You know, because it's being played everywhere she's at.
Everywhere she goes.
They walk into the gas station. It's on TV. She goes into the farmer's house and it's on his TV. And, it just seems like everywhere you're seeing a television playing, it's this guy giving his sermon, about that. And then to find out that she is his daughter that was taken from him to live a life of sin. It's great just to see that conclusion wrapped up so nicely. And then, I didn't even realize it, but I watched Nymphomaniac back when it first came out on Netflix. They had those 1 and 2, they did 2 parts. And she was one of the characters in it, and I didn't realize that was her. There was a whole scene with her and the main character doing, basically girl on girl. Because the movie is basically about sex and the orientation of her sex life, and how she feels about it and how it makes her feel, and all the different partners that she has. And Mia Goth was one of the main character's partners. It wasn't until I saw X and I was like, that girl looks really familiar. And I looked at her background to see what other movies she did, and I said, oh, that's where I've seen her before. I couldn't quite put my finger on. I knew I'd seen her in something, but I just couldn't quite figure it out. And that's where I saw her at. And she's English too, nonetheless.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Well, her Texan accent is.
Yeah, it was pretty spot on.
Right?
She sounded like a hick. No offense to people out there with accents. But she sounded like she was from Texas. And her I can't remember what it was. What was her? She had a saying that was the same saying that her preacher father was saying.
Yeah.
And I didn't make that connection. She kept saying it, and he said it as well.
He would say, I didn't make that connection until the end. I think it's something like, I will not accept life I do not deserve, something like this.
Yeah.
It was one of her mantras beside I'm a fucking sex symbol.
Yeah.
those seem to be her 2 mantras, but she was really determined from the
totally.
beginning.
That reminded me of Boogie Nights with
totally.
with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he pulls that fucking prosthetic cock out, and he's like, I'm a star.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, total Dirk Diggler energy throughout the movie.
That shit was fun. So that's our review for X. What would you say? Yay or nay?
Oh yeah, Ty West did a really good job. All the actors did a really good job. Like I said, my only gripe was the slow pacing at the beginning. The music was spot on. Really well used. I would give it easily as 4 out of 5 stabs, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. The movie was definitely well made. I quite enjoyed the build-up because it was like a roller coaster ride. You know, it seemed a little longer to get to that peak before you get to that drop. But once you got to that drop, it made everything worth it.
Oh yeah, that's a really good analogy. I like it. I might steal it later.
So yeah, I would give it the same 4 out of 5 stabs. All right, let's talk comic books. We got 2 different comics Ollin has given me for me to read. Both of them look very interesting, and when I read them, I actually favored one over the other, and we're going to get into it and tell you why. The first one is called A Town Called Terror. This has a synopsis about a gentleman named Henry West, and it goes like this. Henry West is brutally kidnapped in the middle of the night, while his wife just watches terrified. Henry awakens to the reality of his whereabouts, but Julie, with no evidence of the phantom crime, is unable to get help to search for him. This series is from the cutting minds of Steve Niles, who brought you 30 Days of Night, and Simon Kredinsky, who looks like he did some art for Spawn and The Punisher. This is a mini-series, and looks like it has 6 issues. Right now I've only read the first issue, and it is part 1, called A Message from Home.
Yeah, this one, I was really surprised. I'm going to talk about the art first. I am not usually a fan of digital art. It looks like the art's done all by Simon Kudranski.
All by himself?
All by himself. No inking, no colors. Looks like he's the colorist. And usually I'm more of a more traditional type art type of guy.
So this isn't pen and ink?
No, it looks like it's done completely on computer, but it's really, really good.
Yeah, because looking at the pages, like how vibrant they are, and I just didn't know like if they use like a special type of clear coat or what they did to really make the inks pop like that. I mean, it's outstanding just the way the pages look, and the multiple panels. So
yeah, even with the color palette being really dark, as it should be for a horror comic, the images really pop out.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Like how dark it is. It is very vibrant still.
Very detailed.
Yeah, very detailed. You can see everything, even in the darks.
Exactly.
It's awesome. I mean, I don't even know what to even call it. Like I said, I just thought they did some kind of overlaying to really make it pop. But I'm not into the comics or the drawings of comics, so I don't know the processes and procedures and how all this stuff happens. So, but that's crazy that they can do digital and make it look so good like that.
It's really good. And not being a fan of the digital style of art, I was really pleasantly surprised. And the writing, well, it's the writer of
30
Days of Night. So I love that graphic novel. I've always been into vampires, so Steve Niles is somebody you can trust with something like this. And basically the story is about a town where it's just populated by all kinds of monsters. And
sounds like my kind of place to visit.
Yeah, right. And that's where the mystery takes place. And so far, so good. I've only read the first chapter also myself, but I think you can pretty soon you'll be able to read this collected. It seems to me like it's going to read a lot better once it's all collected.
Oh, they're going to do like a trade?
Right.
Nice.
I think that's the way to read it. So far, the first chapter was really pleasant.
Yeah, I'm hooked on it, and I can't wait to read the other ones to see what's going to happen with Henry. More so actually with Julie. I'd like to see if she's going to go crazy or or she's just going to put on the old fucking detective hat and try and
Try to solve the mystery.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes the shit out of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hooked, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat, just trying to figure out what the second book holds. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. How they're gonna wrap this thing up. And it's really cool too. Like the covers, if you look this up, each of the covers they're done in a similar style, the same color palette, but each of them have its own little different picture on the front. I know sometimes when they do like a part series, I know that they usually use the same picture. They definitely do on the trade. And then there's, like the DC and the Marvel, they obviously, every comic has a different cover. But this one, all the covers, they look similar. The same color palette, the same reds that they're using in the middle, but each picture is different, and it's really cool. Check it out. We're
super cool design for the covers.
Yeah, this is on Image Comics. Nice. So Image Comics, that's the home of Spawn, right?
Right, that's right.
Okay.
Makes sense that they use their previous talent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they look. Yes, like I said earlier, that Simon Kredinsky guy, he looks like he drew for Spawn and Punisher. Punisher being on Marvel, but Spawn being on Image. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Highly recommend it. This is definitely a recommend.
Yeah, I would definitely. If you can't buy all of them, wait for the trade. Get the trade. If not, go out and get the other parts.
Back issue hunting.
Yeah, crate digging. So yeah, Town Called Terror, 6-part miniseries. Like Ollin said, it looks like eventually the trade will come out. And from what I'm seeing, the last issue, number 6, just recently dropped, beginning of September here. So that means the trade's probably coming out within the next month or two. So
yeah, most likely somewhere around Halloween, you'll be able to pick it up and read it.
So yeah, Town Called Terror. And our next comic, this one, and like I said, out of the 2 comics, I had a favorite. That was my favorite. So
yeah, same here.
The next one is called Red Room, Trigger Warnings, number 1. This is another first issue. I don't know if this has also multiple parts. I think it is a series. I'm not sure exactly how many are in the series.
Yeah, it's a series.
It looks like it's 4. So there's 4 to the series.
Yeah.
So not as many as A Town Called Terror, but definitely this was a hard read. Definitely an interesting book. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and these ones are more like standalone. There's a connecting tissue to them, but each story is different. And this one was sectioned into like 3 parts that you're able to read.
Yeah, it's
simultaneously.
It's got 3 individual like panels, like a top panel, a middle panel, and a bottom panel. The gentleman who did this comic, I've never heard of him. His name's Ed Pisker.
Yeah.
So he's the mind behind this sadistic comic.
He's a weird guy. The themes that he's touching upon here are really, really dark and disturbing. It's basically the Red Room is a place in the dark web where people are murdered, and then it gets broadcast on the website, and people go in there, watch it, pay to watch, and the stories that are told are very dark and disturbing.
Yeah, it's crazy because like the top panel seems to be I guess it would be a normal panel of comics, with the storytelling as you read it from start to finish. It obviously it's a horror base, so it's got a little of the horror elements to it, in the storytelling. But the middle one is just completely crazy, and it looks like it's set up to look like it's you're viewing it on a screen.
Like you're watching the website.
Yeah, like you're watching the webcast or the web feed. And then the bottom one has it looks like it's the alternative of the top panel. So it's like as the top panels coming across, the bottom panel is giving you something way more sadistic and crazy.
Yeah, it just gets bloody and just body parts flying everywhere. And the art style reminds me of like the 60s indie comics, like Robert Crumb and artists like that, who did Fritz the Cat. They were kind of like psychedelic almost.
That's going way back.
And it's a little bit that style. And it was a bit of a chore for me to get through this one.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a real chore for me to get through it.
Yeah.
Like I started off. I don't know if you're supposed to just read the page from top to bottom. That's how I did it. So I was really lost.
Right.
And then I had to go back and say, no, I need to reread this top panel first, middle panel,
to have more connectivity. Yeah, absolutely.
And I was just like, this is the way. So if you're gonna read this, pick a panel, read it from start to finish, and then move to the next panel. Do the top, do the middle, do the bottom, whichever one you want to do.
Otherwise, you'll be thoroughly confused.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. And like I said, it was just the overall writing of it is really good, and the artwork's okay. The graphicness of the novel itself, of the comic itself, is where you're gonna be like, wow.
Yeah, it's a bit verbose. A lot of speech bubbles that you have to get through. A lot of reading that you have to do, which usually for a comic book, being more of a visual medium, you want to be able to take in the art a lot more and not be so busy with so many words. Which this one is very wordy.
Yeah, especially that middle panel with the dark web.
Yeah,
there's a lot of verbiage,
info dumps, and all sorts of stuff. But what kept me going was, I think, the theme of it, which is very dark and very disturbing, and I genuinely wanted to know what happened next.
I was just gonna say that I was on the same page with you with that. I definitely wanted to know what was going to happen next. That's what kept me going in that. Otherwise, I would have put it down. I would have been like, fuck this comic.
Yeah,
it's not my cup of tea.
It can get tiring with it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a recommend, but if you're really into very good, it's definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah.
So I would say, thread lightly, but if it's something that might interest you, go ahead, pick it up and give it a try.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some horror fanatics out there that are down to check this out, or at least have already checked this out. But yeah, this one's not for me. I'll just tell you that.
Yeah, I probably won't keep going with it. But
yeah,
it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was a nice read the first time. Oh, nah, that's a lie. I read it the first time and I was like, all right, well, if there's any more, I'm out. I tap out. Done. So, Ed Piskor, Red Room, Trigger Warnings #1. This one has some alternative covers on it, which are kind of cool. The one I have here looks like a bunch of, I don't know if they're zombie heads or shrunken heads, but it's like a bunch of heads with all the hair pulled together, like someone's holding them like a trophies. And then it's got a lot of verbiage on it. So it's definitely, you wouldn't miss it. Like, Red Room's pretty big written on it, and like I said, the heads, if you were to see that cover. But yeah, crazy. So those are our comic recommendations. Red Room, Trigger Warnings, and the first one, A Town Called Terror. which you hear it first from us, that we both recommend that read. Check it out. If you can't see, or if you can't read all 6, wait for the trade. I think Ollin said somewhere about October, like Halloween time, it might drop. So keep an eye out at your comic stores for those. And then, we'll on our next podcast have some more comics to talk about and tell you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's talk video games. I got a couple here for you guys. Saw the trailers on YouTube, thought they were pretty interesting. First one's called Murder House, and the second one is called Layers of Fear. Both these games can be found on PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. So let's get into it. Murder House. So this one is a game that focuses on a news crew arriving at a house of a would-be serial killer who thought to be dead to film a documentary, only for the killer to re-emerge and hunt them down. So this game can be played as third person or first person. It says it has some fixed camera angles by default, which is unfortunate, so you can't really change your perception other than the first person to third person. It does say that the players can find a lot of different items throughout the game, such as like keys, pencils, and then different types of weapons. It doesn't really specify the weaponry. It says you can also travel between rooms through doors that open through cutscenes. This is similar to like the Resident Evil games, and but yeah, if you guys get a chance, check out the trailers for them. This first one, like I said, is Murder House. I'm not going to go too in depth on these games. I just kind of caught them one day and thought, oh, these are kind of cool to talk about. So it's really up to your discretion if you play different types of horror games, but these are 2 that I'm going to recommend. So the second one is called Layers of Fear. This one is sort of psychological. This one, like I said, can also be played on your PC, your PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Also looks like you can play this on your Mac OS. So Mac's not really known for gaming, opposed to like how PCs are, but looks like you have that option just in case if you do have a Mac. This game is presented to be a first-person perspective only, and is very story-driven, and it revolves around a lot of puzzle solving. So it's almost like a escape room, but with a lot of different challenges to solve puzzles, which require you to move up to the next level. It can't really do you justice on the explaining on these games, other than check them out on YouTube or wherever you can watch trailers for these. Layers of Fear and Murder House. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Horror Scene Podcast, Last Rites. If you guys haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to it on YouTube, please subscribe, smash that like button, and then hit the bell for all future notifications. You can always find us at our website, www.thehorrorscene.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And for any comments, questions, or future show ideas, you can hit us up at our email, thehorrorscene@gmail.com.